Cancer. So, not only is cancer a full time job, but cancer is expensive.
Only been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Been gone for a year, only know like once. Life move fast when you doing.
Cancer is a full time job simply because, the amount of appointments they schedule for you is crazy. I'm talking about like weekly blood work and labs, um, doctor's appointments, just all kind of stuff, right? You meet with the medical oncologist, you meet with the surgery team, you meet with, dietitian, you meet with the social worker, you meet with just so many different people, so many moving pieces come with having cancer. And so I thought that, when I was initially diagnosed, I'd be able to still work, and do all this other stuff, but cancer a full-time job. Like right now, I recently had my surgery and I can't drive. I'm on some serious restrictions. Like they tell me I gotta stay in this bubble. I can't like move out of this bubble. So I can barely wash my head, shave my head, even though my hair's growing back. Like I can't do certain things. It's just a full-time job. Now let's talk about the expenses that you don't know that comes with having cancer. Or I guess you don't realize or think of, or nobody mentions, or nobody talks about, right? So, in addition to the medical bills, right, for your cancer treatment, because again, all those doctor's visits, labs, consultations, phone calls, all those things are being billed to you. They're not free. And, you can't have that mentality of, I'm just not going to pay my medical bills. Yeah, you are. You're going to pay them, right? Parking. Parking. So, I was receiving treatment downtown. I had my surgery downtown here in Houston. Parking, $20 a day. And if you don't want to pay $20 a day, feel free to pay, it's like $5 an hour, but then a minute over an hour is $9. So just imagine, right? So parking. I was in the hospital for like 5 days after surgery. Parking, right? And then in addition to parking, let's talk about the food, right? Again, being in this restriction, right? This bubble that I'm in, okay? My husband's gone to work, kids are at school. I can't cook. So if you say, "Oh, do takeout," or have somebody cook for you, for how long? For how long? Because I am on a restriction or what have you for 6 to 8 weeks. That's just the minimum. Because for those of you that don't know or know much about astronomy, the surgery that I had, they cut my breastbone down in half. So, imagine when you break your arm, right? So imagine that has to fuse back together. So I understand the seriousness of having to stay within this bubble because they don't want your breastbone to fuse back, like uneven, right? If you look at the x-rays too, right? The doctors, like, there's like a bunch of bows going down my breastbone. It's crazy. Like, it's wild, right? He called them like twist ties. But anyway, so that stays in you forever. But nonetheless, so I'm on this restriction for like, I don't know, it seems like a lifetime. So cleaning, cooking, all these things. But again, back to the expenses. So again, food, parking, cancer treatments, gas, right? So you're like, well, you were working. I was. I was a teacher, right? I've been a teacher in Texas for over 10 years. And guess what, guys? I was not paying into Social Security. Having cancer automatically qualifies you for disability, right? Like Social Security. And like you could be even totally disabled. Partially, they don't do partial, but you could be totally disabled. But guess what? As a teacher in Texas, I wasn't paying into Social Security. Therefore, there's no money to pay me. You know what I mean? When I become disabled or stop working. So that's that, right? So not only had learned like a couple years prior that, there's no pension in Texas for teachers and this and that. Like, again, this is not common knowledge. So please don't come at me like, oh, you should have known that. There's no way I freaking knew, right? That being a teacher in Texas, there was no pension or you weren't paying into Social Security. We pay into like TRS, and that's like a whole separate whatever. So, um, I stopped working in January when I started chemo, right? And after the first round of chemo, I was like, oh, I could do this, right? I can. They can't, right? Chemo fucked with me. Chemo is the real deal, Holyfield. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a superwoman, right? I can, work and clean and cook, take care of the kids, take care of myself, be my, the best wife I could be, daughter, whatever, right? Nah, chemo humbled me. It humbled me to the point where my daughter, who turned 1 in February, I couldn't even do a smash cake for her. That's how tired, exhausted, fatigued, down and out and about that I was, right? And that broke me because if you've seen my son or one of my videos, every year, even when he turned 6 months, I always did a DIY birthday celebration for him. But that wasn't the case this time. No, no, I wasn't even about to try. Then my birthday came around. I turned a big 3-5. Nothing, nothing. Didn't even go no dinner, nowhere. Right? Forget, being self-conscious about my appearance. And now I'm getting used to the little bald look because my head ain't too bad. But the side effects that come with just cancer in general, that's a whole different video. But the expenses, guys, this is the kicker right here. I just got a bill from my school district. That's how I knew it was real. Like, I just got a bill. Like, I'm owing them. You know what I'm saying? I'm owing them. I never thought, okay, those of you tuning in don't know me, I'm Nigerian. And so there's this big thing around, like GoFundMe and, asking for money and donations, right? Comes with pride, being Igbo, whatever, right? When I got that bill, I was like, oh, so on top of everything else that, we got to pay for, right? Rent and other utility bill, food, kids, all this other stuff. The school district that I'm working for sends me a bill. Yeah, hey, go fund me up because I owe my doctors. I owe, we owe rent, we owe food, we owe gas, we owe so much that cancer is expensive. And I don't like surprises. I wish I would have known this. Granted, nobody plans to be diagnosed with cancer. Nobody plans on it, right? But and this is why probably emergency funds and all these things are expensive. But let me tell you something. Cancer still ain't cheap, baby. Chemotherapy sessions, I can't wait to see my surgery bill, right? Chemotherapy sessions, my doctor visits, it's like 700 a pop. And you talking about those are the virtual visits, not even the individual in-person visits. Cancer is expensive. Food, parking, treatment, consultations, gas, just self-care. Self-care. I mean, I picked up this little shedding robe off of Amazon. The sleeves all Michael Jackson jump up. But baby, I mean, it's soft to do what it's supposed to do, cover me up. But self-care, who got money for self-care? Oh, get a massage and get the. Let me eat my little cereal because that's the best I could do. Listen, I sent me a bill. Y'all, listen, you got $1.25 to spare. I mean, the link is in my bio. Help a girl out because y'all know, if you know me, I would never. But baby, they say never say never.